Hello boys, babes, and all of you beans in between. Welcome back to my All the Blocks series. Now, today, if you have not been a part of this yet, the important things you have to keep in mind are, we have a couple of rules. Number one, anybody can give me anywhere from 3 to 5 blocks. Now, those blocks can be anything in the block palette of Minecraft, but one of them must be able to be crafted into stairs, slabs, something of that nature. However, the second number rule is it has to be like a stone stair or a stone slab, but stone brick is not craftable for us. Now, to jump back to that, let's look at our block palette for today, because stone is oddly specific today. Because I was literally given stone brick, cobblestone, jungle logs, and leaves. Any of them, just leaves. So let's see what I can get out of that. Now, that block palette is probably the most jungle-esque block palette you can find. Like, that is literally a jungle temple minus the mossy texture of the blocks. So, what else are you going to do besides stick in a jungle? And I was looking around, trying to find a nice, valley or space we could work in, and unfortunately, it being jungle was probably one of the hardest environments I've had to terraform to make a space to build in yet. Mind you, obviously not outside of, creative. I've done a lot more than that outside of creative. But in creative, this was probably the most weirdest thing I had ever had to just casually go and spit out so that we could try and put a build in. Now, Jungle Temple. Jungle Temple was what that block palette gave me, and I'm sitting there thinking, okay, how do I elevate a Jungle Temple? Because, jungle temples are great and all, but they're very simple. They're a very simple block structure. You can probably see the one up in the upper left-hand corner of the video that's just up there in that hill. The biggest difference I wanted to make on that, though, was something that stood out, something that pulled a bit more from specifically temples that make me think of the ones in Southeast Asia. I don't know the specific names of them, but they are very beautiful in nature and typically are found in deeper jungles. They are absolutely gorgeous structures, and I think they are super cool, and so I wanted to pull something like that as inspiration. Now, to do that effectively, I wanted to make sure we had an adequate canvas to work off of, so I spent a little extra time using brush effects and world edit to try and give us a proper little island-esque thing that would be in the jungle that I could then terraform back to later to make it look more incorporated into the environment to give us our best chance at making this look good. Now, obviously, that's not what we're here to build for. This is just me making the space. Let's get the build working. Alrighty, so you already have a vague idea of what I was thinking, what I was wanting to do. Now, getting that actually done is where we are looking at to try and figure out what's next. The big thing I was looking at is, okay, so we elevate it. We elevate it to how? What kind of space are we looking in? Is someone going to live in this, or are we going to focus on the trapping aspects of, the typical jungle temple we see? I went ahead and moved on with the lived in it situation. Now, once again, I have only stone to build with. Not a bad thing. Downside, no mossy, but all entirely doable. This is all stone and jungle wood. Easy enough. Okay, so in the typical temple, we have the upper level, lower level, and the lower level has trappings. Okay, how do we do this? What was I going to do with it? I wanted it to be fully, systematically symmetrical, fully rotational. It could be the same from all angles outside of any deterioration that I'm going to include in the build, which, honestly, we didn't even do that. I just went ahead and did more greenery focused. But working with it, you end up with a nice lower level that you can walk up and up to the main, walk around space, and then down into, which makes a great space for storage. And honestly opens up full opportunity to do all sorts of things down there. And then you can go up and have higher levels, which doesn't really give you a lot of space to work with and actually use as a base. But it is cool looking, it's pretty, it gives you a nice, beautiful area to move about in. I think it's super, super cool. Now, looking at these builds, I honestly was thinking mostly to the one that you see from the Disney version of the Jungle Book that the chimpanzees are in. Wherever the song takes place of the I Want to Walk Like You, Talk Like You is from. That is specifically what I was kind of thinking of, that specific kind of temple. So I was looking to make those big archways and pillars, minus the statues, because that could have been fun to incorporate some sort of statue. I wanted to focus more on a build and less on a historical monument looking place. Now, mind you, once again, definitely pulling inspiration from those kind of situations and venues. However, I did want it to look like someone has been, at least to an extent, trying to maintain it. And that's why these wood structures are coming off the side, providing some sort of like upper spatial structure to cover up from entry or keep some sun away. Someone put that in. Now, I also wanted to make sure that the greenery is still incorporated. You're in a jungle. Everything around you is green, and it's only gonna get greener. And it makes sense that maybe some leaves or vines have overtaken this venue, and you gotta just work with it to make it work with your environment. Alrighty, so looking at this thing, it is definitely much bigger than your standard jungle temple, which we have over here. Which, once again, while not a bad structure in any way, shape, or form, it is very small, and I feel like it would be super cool to see builds like this of much greater size incorporated into the world, providing at least some sort of extra extension to what is like usable structure in the game. Like I've seen people use ocean monuments fairly regularly to turn into a base, make it functional, make it usable for themselves, either as a farm or as a place to hang out and be where they base their game from. Now, some things I would love to do this thing real quick that should not take us long at all include the following: lighting it up. So, a couple of options I was looking at were lanterns and frog lights. However, I don't think we'll end up using the frog lights, but I do like the idea of incorporating the frog lights up into pre-existing spaces like this, where you can just stick it inside some leaves that are already in there, which provides at least a pretty decent amount of lighting. Oops. I need that one back. Hi there, I need that. Thank you. Dang it. Oh, gosh. Okay. We'll just replace it with mangrove. But different things like that provide at least a very decent level of lighting, while not excessively taking up an exterior space, whereas this is already constructed and already involved in the build. Now, once again, you need more things. Like down here, my first thought down here is a giant chest room. Chest rooms are one of the like pivotal control spaces that everyone just seems to have in Minecraft if they're playing on a world long term. Now, does not need to be, apparently I have left my thing on. There we go. But you ended up with things like this. You can have like a row of these that go like this, because that is still accessible, which is always the goal. Let's get back to that once I can place the other ones in. But this remains all accessible, and these are all usable. Downside, right here, I can't put one there because it won't open as far as I'm aware, but it does still get you a set of chests. You can do it on any side of this. I'm not going to leave those because one of the other ways you could do it to incorporate them fairly easily, actually, without taking up a ton of space, is this space in here is hollow. So you could open this and provide some sort of extra environment. Now, I do want to do some exterior work with it instead of the interior, but we are going to do things like toss in some lanterns so it looks like this is a usable environment. Quick and easy though, because this is all the same on every side. It's quick and easy to decide where things are going to go without having to put too much thought process into it, because it just kind of fits. So, I'm going to do a little bit of extra add-ons to this space real quick and see if I can do something that just feels right. And I will bring you right back once I've made those adaptations. Alrighty, we have done some touches. Let's take a look. So I threw in a quick little bridge. It's nothing special in the slightest, actually. Let's throw some more support beams, I guess, up on the sides. But overall, brought in some more trees. We refilled some of the surrounding area, so it's not so cleaned out. Definitely looks like it's not the only thing around here. Tossed in a whole bunch of leaves, bamboo, trees, podzol. And overall, I think it's coming out, honestly, fairly well. Definitely, there's always room for improvement. That's the way that these things are. That's the best part about it, is it's never done improving. But we brought some life back into it, added some more light, so that, actually, that's what I haven't tested yet. Let's do time, set, night. There we go. Look at that in the dark. I really like that. It definitely feels like it belongs here. It definitely looks like it's something that should be in the jungle. We filled in this water, obviously, too, which looks quite nice in my opinion. I will admit, the big issue I have when I build is I look at things, I'm like, that's a face. And I'm sitting here going, that's an eye, and that is an emo hairstyle in front of their face. Yep, that is exactly what that is. But I love how this came out. I really wish that I had taken some more time with it to like just be able to throw some more things in. Because like one thing that I think would be really cool to have mixed in with this, obviously, is the mossy. But also chiseled stone. Like, it would have been nice touches in weird places, like here. Like right here. It looks like it would belong right there. However, that was not in our block palette, and I don't want to change the build too much. But if you were to ever take this build and run with it yourselves, there's a way you could do with it, a little thing you could mix in just to add some variety. Let's actually bring a little more light into this space so it's not so dark. But I love how this came out. It's very open and airy up here in particular. Looks like it could be something. And then you obviously have all the space down here that you could extend, expand, make it bigger, make it better. And if you think that you would like this schematic, please let me know. I will absolutely start adding my schematics in the comments below so people can take what they have with it and just mix and match their own thing to use the builds. But I really, really do appreciate you coming to hang out today. It's been an absolute blast. Thank you so much for hanging out, and I hope to see you all next time. Take care, drink water, and don't forget to think outside the block. Bye now.